Gosh, what an absolutely glorious autumn day. Autumn has finally arrived. We are getting the absolutely glorious cool mornings and cool evenings, and as Leonora would say, wall-to-wall sunshine. It's absolutely stunning. So, I'm up, I have breakfast, and I am all dressed and ready to go. On such a glorious day, I'm actually going to head to the garden centre, and I know how much you love coming to the garden centre with me, so I thought we would do that together today. Look at the cucumbers. Look at all of this growth. Oh, everything's doing so well. So what I'm wanting to get the garden centre today is some more leeks and some more beetroot seedlings, and I also want to get, gosh, I don't know if it comes across on camera. Oh, maybe it doesn't. But this is just glistening with that early morning dew. You know, when you get those really cold mornings. But yes, so the other thing that I want to do is look at my pumpkin. Look at how big it's gotten. I want to get some ties to tie it up the post. I want to start getting it going up now because it's probably coming up to about here. So I just want to get something soft. I do have the sort of twine that I used over here, but I'm concerned that that's maybe a bit too firm for the pumpkin and that it might cut into the stalk. So I just want to go and have a little look around the garden centre and see if there's something a bit softer I can use to tie it up. If I had like some spare pantyhose or something like that, I'd probably use those, but unfortunately I do not have anything like that. But I just want to tie it up. And then once it gets to here, it will be perfectly fine because I can just twirl it around as it goes along. But so that is the plan for today. I'm going to get Mum and we're going to head to the garden centre together. We've decided, because it is so beautiful, we're going to head out to the one, it's a little while away, but the drive is absolutely stunning. Gosh, weather is just, I'm so excited for autumn, you have no idea. And as I said, we've already started to get like the evenings now, we're sort of getting that 14 to 16 degrees, which is getting cooler. It will obviously get a lot colder than that in winter, but it's just that really pleasant weather to sleep. So I'm absolutely thrilled. But without further ado, let's get in the car, let's get Mum, and let's head off to the garden centre and have a good little fossick around there, a little poke through and see what else they have. You know, I love to do that. The garden centre we're going to also has a little coffee shop, so no doubt Mum will be getting a coffee. Oh, it's just taking in this beautiful morning sun. All right, let's head off. So we have arrived at the garden centre and we've had a little look at the seeds, but I've not got anything from there. But we were just looking at these gloves. We have bought some gloves from here. Look, they're autumn gloves. That is so cute. Might have to treat myself to some autumnal gloves. That is the cutest thing. Alright, we've also added this very sweet little kneeling pad to our loot. We've got the gloves, Mum's got a pair of secateurs, and yeah, it's very squishy. There's lots of foam in there. Yeah, no, it's great. So we've just come into the pop-up garden bag section. We've got pop-up garden bags at home, and they tend to just, I mean, after time they kind of wear out. So thinking of just getting, they're the ones that obviously they just pop up and they've got a bit of a structure to them. So thinking something like this. You definitely don't want it too big because then you have to lug it out to the garden bin. So this one's sort of a bit of a smaller one and it's only $9. Yeah. But they do have bigger ones here for sort of like $30 and $20 and that, but they may be too big. So maybe we will just get the small one. Rightio. We are in the plant ties for the pumpkin. I'm thinking to get this here. So it's just like a soft kind of jute fabric. But I can kind of just tie it to the post. That might work well. Goodness. Oh, my camera won't focus. Apologies. There we go. But yeah. So this could just be really nice. And again, soft on the little stem. So we don't cut it in half. What is that? $6. So we made it out to the garden section and I really just wanted to show you, these are the ground cover violas that I have spoken about many times that I love for suppressing weeds. So I just wanted to show you there, just in case you are interested in getting something similar. They're just incredible. They cover a massive amount of area and as I've said before, look how gorgeous these little dainty blooms are. And you just get a full carpet of them, which is stunning. And they suppress all your weeds. Definitely an incredible gardening hack. Oh wow, look at all the colour. Oh, it's gorgeous. Look at these colours. Ooh, I'm wondering if I should get some to display in the kitchen. Oh my goodness. Look at these ones. Oh wow, look how big they are. That's incredible. Look. Oh wow. They're so beautiful. All very autumnal colours. I wonder how much these are. Something like this could be super cute in the kitchen as a bit of a autumn floral display. $10. I wonder how long they'd last in the kitchen. There's some very cute little blooms on there. But $10 for a bunch of flowers is not too bad if you ask me. Gosh, like look at these ones. That's stunning. Look at those colours. Ooh, I like those. I shall ponder and see if I can get anything else. They're just beautiful. Oh, and these, look how big they are. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like, look at the size of it. I've never seen them like that. Wow, I love the purple colour. Would you look at these bush roses? Look at that! Isn't that incredible? The pink and the white. You can see here, oh, they're very expensive. But isn't that incredible? That colour variation. They're a bit too big for my garden, unfortunately. I will stick with my mini roses, but I think that variegated leaf petal, oh, how incredible. They still have a few packets of the little beetroot seedlings here, so I might pack up another little packet of those, maybe this one, and we'll also start some more seeds. So I might grab those, and then I'm just going to have a little hunt around to see if they've still got some leeks in stock. Yes, they do. Just up there. So I'm just going to get a few more leeks as well. I think that was all I needed. I did end up getting those dahlias, so I will show you those. Absolutely gorgeous. I cannot pick those up with one hand. Mum has just spotted these here. Look at this. Is that not absolutely gorgeous? I've never seen these before. And they actually do have a fragrance to them. Look at that. With the little pale pink and the white. And how, look at the blooms coming up. They like come up, sort of drape down like that. And even the leaves, the variegation on the leaves. So stunning. Got a really soft, sort of musky, like musk kind of a fragrance to them. Quite like a sweet, soft musk. You know those mustics? Did you ever have those as a kid? Those, they're like a pink mustic. Anyway, that's kind of the smell they have. How incredible. I'm wondering if this would do better inside, on the kitchen, as my little sort of potted flowers. See, indirect light, hard shade. That might do better in the kitchen. And that's the same price as the dahlias. So I might actually get one of these instead of the dahlias. Just to give a little tiny pop of colour for the coming autumn season. Oh, they're just incredible. Look at them. Even I really like the leaves as well. So $10 for a little bunch of flowers. We shall pop them in the trolley. I have blueberry bushes here. I've had very little success with blueberries. I would love to grow them, and I've tried many times, but unfortunately I think maybe my soil's just not right for them. I just couldn't get the blueberries to, I mean, I got a few blueberries, but definitely not an abundance. They do have the blueberries in stock for this time of year, and as always they've got their little selection of seedlings to get you started. Sometimes I find the mix of like seedlings and seeds is just really good. You kind of get that succession of planting quite quickly, which is very nice. And they also have their strawberries here, which, as you know, I've got growing at the moment in the garden. But everything is looking really good. Little barbecue herb mixes there. Got kale seeds at home. I might just wait another few weeks for the temperature to lower, and then we'll be starting our kale seeds. They've got all the broccoli, got onions. Peas. So this is a little section of unusual kind of herbs, I think. They've got marshmallow root, which they did not have last time. They've got artichokes. Oh wow. Hold on, Mum's just found me. Look how pretty. It's a oh, like the Christmas plant, yeah, but in the pink.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Should I get that instead of that one?
We're just debating now.
I found
Do you go?
ones.
Oh, lovely. Mum's also found some. Oh my goodness, isn't this gorgeous?
Aren't they lovely? Look at this.
Oh wow, are they the star cluster panthers?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, let me get a bit closer so you can see. Hopefully the camera will focus. Can you see it's got the little pretty white center and then the pink on the outside of like, so, like a lavendery almost color. It's coming across on camera as very pink, but it's quite got a purple tone to it. Cute.
Coconut eyes.
It says smell me on it. Look how cute these are. Look at the little floral. Hold on, let me smell it. I mean, it's not a super strong smell, but there is a nice smell to it. Oh,
Pretty, isn't it?
yeah, it's gorgeous.
Does it say how big it gets?
So you've got that.
Did you see it say how big?
Height 20 centimeters by 20. Full sun, highly
Yeah.
fragrant.
Yep. Sorry.
And then just debating whether to go this or this.
To get both, but one in the way.
And you can see they've got like the deeper pink and then it kind of fades out to the lighter pink and then the green. Oh, very well done. Mum's just popped off to get a coffee. Geranium peppermint. Dill. Sorrel. I find this so fascinating. They've got chamomile, chamomile. Chia. Oh, like chia seeds. Oh, wow. I've never actually seen a plant. Like a chia seed plant. Hold on, let me position you. Oh my goodness. Who knew? Blue flowers, followed by masses of small mottled oval seeds. Huh. An annual. That's crazy. I didn't realise, I mean, I'd not really thought about it too much, I suppose, how chia seeds grew. But so that's the flower there. And then after it flowers, you get all the little chia seeds that we sort of all know now and eat. I actually have chia seeds at home that I eat. That's incredible. So it's an annual. Huh. There you go, see, you learn something every day. I don't know if I'll get anything from here today though. I am very tempted by the chia seeds, but it's an annual and I just don't know whether for the effort it might just be easier for me to continue to buy my chia seeds as I'm getting them currently. So we've got quite the loot here. That lighting's a little bit better so you can kind of see those beautiful flowers. Let me find the little tag for you. So they're the star cluster panthers, which you'll be very familiar with. I have a number of these in my garden. But this one is a new variation for me. Very excited to get those in. You know it's autumn when they're starting to get all of the chrysanthemums in stock. They've got the beautiful sort of pink They've got this deeper sort of burgundy colour, and then they've got the classic white. I did see some sort of buttercup yellow as well. Yes, chrysanthemums are in. Autumn is definitely here. Just spotted in here, they also have raspberries. Autumn fruiting raspberries. That is very intriguing. They have figs up there. And little chili plants. But yes, autumn fruiting raspberries. I wonder how big they would get. They get very big, don't they? I might not have the right climate for that. Got boysenberries. This is the gorgeous buttercup sort of yellow chrysanthemums that I was saying earlier. Look how beautiful they are. Yes, definitely a sign of autumn. Just come inside to find Mum, and oh, how gorgeous are these orchids? Aren't they stunning? Here you are. Mum's got her coffee. Oh, how cool, how funny is that? Oh, the camera won't focus. Hold on, let me, it's absolutely $25. That's just the top of it there. And then down the bottom, it's got these little nuts that it seems to be growing out of. Yeah, that's a very pretty coffee cup.
Oh, I'll buy this for Jacob Ellis.
I'm just showing them the coffee cup. Isn't that gorgeous? Little takeaway cup. You forgot your travel mug. Okay. It is absolutely packed here today. Packed, I tell you. It is currently school holidays, so there are kids everywhere, which I'm sure you can hear. And just to show you, these are all the trays, there's Mum, of new indoor plants. All brand new indoor plants that have just come in and they haven't had a chance yet to put them on these shelves. So much loveliness. Always so much inspiration, I think, when you come to the garden centre and you kind of see what they've done and what's sort of in season at the moment. Yeah, it's always very inspiring. Everything looks incredible. It's such a good garden centre. Mum has just brought me this to show you because she thought it was very unusual. This is a living air plant. And so you can see here, this is the plant. And they've popped it in kind of like a jellyfish situation. And it doesn't require water or anything like that, but you hang it. You can see here at the top, it's got a little attachment there for you to hang. And you hang it like a little jellyfish, and these tendrils here are the plant, and it will just continue to grow. That is very cool, very different. Spanish moss. So if any of you have access to Spanish moss, you could almost make it into a little hanging jellyfish, which is a very cute idea. I just wanted to give you a really quick close-up of this plant because it's so unusual. Like, can you see there? The little bean has split open and that's what the plant is coming out from. How unusual is that? So it says on its little tag here, I will put it back. It is a magic bean plant. Valued as a lucky plant, the magic bean is easy to grow. Keep your magic bean in a bright protected position indoors or out. This large native rainforest species is recommended as an ornamental indoor plant and not for outdoor urban areas. Water regularly, feed regularly with a liquid fertilizer once a month to keep it thriving. That is very, very different. A little rainforest rainforest plant. You can have a little bit of the rainforest in your own home. It's very bushy at the top, and you can see here it's got all new leaves coming out. So it's sort of looking fairly healthy and happy. Mum was hoping to get one. She volunteers, and she was sort of hoping to get one for on the desk inside, but I don't know if this might be a bit too big for the desk. I'll just sort of give you a little close-up of that because that's very different. We've got this sweet little indoor plant here in a hollowed out coconut. It's very different and very cute. Rightio, we have everything in the back of the car now and gonna head home. Quite a nice little collection. Alright, so I am home, and the other thing that I wanted to do today that I thought we could do together is actually need to make some scones, and I have a really easy, incredible sort of gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free scone recipe. And what I actually do is I prep them, and then with the dough, I make my individual little portions and I actually freeze them as individual portions. And what that means is that sort of, on weekdays, if you've got people over, you can kind of just take out the portions from the freezer and then pop them in the oven and cook them fresh. And it means that you have fresh scones pretty much on demand. So I thought we would do that together now. And then we'll do a little walk around the garden and I'll show you some quick gardening updates. But yeah, so what I might do is you're probably going to want to come a little bit closer so that you can see. I'm going to use the Magimix. As you will know, if you don't have a Magimix, it's not a problem at all. You're going to do the exact same thing that I do. You'll just do it in a bowl, like a normal standard bowl. So I'll get you to come a little bit closer and I will get out all my ingredients and then we'll start making these scones. It won't take us long at all. It's a very easy recipe. All right, so I've got my ingredients out now for the scones. As I said, this is a super quick, easy recipe that I use all the time. I've just actually run out of all of my scones, so I want to make up another batch. First things first, as I said earlier, I will be using my Magimix. I'm using the dough blade on this. If you do not have a Magimix or a KitchenAid or a Thermomix or anything like that, it's not a problem at all. Just get a normal bowl and mix the ingredients in a bowl. Won't change anything. This is just a little bit easier for me, that's all. So the first thing we want to do is make buttermilk. So if you don't have buttermilk yourself, the way we're going to do that is by putting 3/4 cup of milk and some white vinegar, and we're going to let it sit for about 2 minutes in the fridge. So I'm going to be using an organic rice milk because I don't have dairy milk. But if you have dairy milk, you can obviously just use normal cow's milk. You could use coconut milk, rice milk, almond milk, whatever milk you have, it doesn't really matter, you could use that. So I'm going to use rice milk. And so you kind of just want your 200 mils, like so. And then you want a tablespoon of white vinegar. And that will create our buttermilk, which we will use later on. So I'm just going to pop this in the fridge and we'll let that cool and then we'll start on the other ingredients. All right, so just before we get going, I just want to mention with scones, what I would recommend is having a lot of your ingredients quite cold. So as we've just done, we've actually popped the buttermilk back in the fridge. The eggs that I have are cold. The coconut oil that I have is also really firm. If you're using butter, use cold butter, that kind of thing. So first things first, you need 3 cups of flour. I'm using a gluten-free flour. If you're not gluten-free, you can just use a normal flour. It does not need to be, or it should not be self-raising. Just plain flour is all you need. And 3 cups of that. So whilst I'm doing my cups, I thought I would just mention as well, I think I mentioned in last week's video maybe, that I had started to read that Emily Wilde Encyclopedia of Fairies, and I wasn't sort of sure about it, and I didn't know if it would be good. Well, I have finished reading the first book in the series, so there's 3 books in the series, and I have to say I was really pleasantly surprised. It certainly wasn't silly or anything like that. Emily is a scholar from Cambridge, and there are obviously fairies in the book. There are like common folk, and there are court fae, and basically it's just as if they've always been there. They're just sort of, you know, part and parcel of, you know, the world, and her role at Cambridge University, her department studies the fae, and it sort of comes across from like a really scientific almost point of view, and the book is sort of written as Emily's field journal, and it's sort of her and her academic rival go to, you know, this village, I think it's like off of Norway or something like that, to study these elusive fae there. Anyway, I just wanted to say it was actually really good. I enjoyed it. So I have done my 3 cups. I'm just adding a little bit extra for good luck. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, yeah, it was really unbelievably well written. Yeah, it was unbelievably, sorry, if you've just noticed that the camera's just cut, I like to put my ingredients away as I go along. I don't know why, but that's my preference. So I'll just be putting things away kind of as we move through the recipe. I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt. I'm not measuring it, just a rough amount of salt. And the next thing you need is baking powder. You need 2 tablespoons of baking powder. I have actually dried this. I use this to put the white vinegar in the milk. So I've just dried this before I'm using it. So 1, 2, and then the next thing we need is 1/2 cup of butter. So I'm going to make this recipe dairy free. If you're not dairy free, you can of course use just normal butter. I do have butter here. I'm just not going to use it. What I'm going to use instead is coconut oil. So I'm almost done with this one. I've got another one here. So I'm just going to put 1/2 cup of coconut oil in here. And again, you know the weather's getting cold when your coconut oil has solidified. So you need 1/2 cup. So I'm just gonna roughly measure that out. I'm using the 1 cup, but obviously I'll just make 1/2 cup out of that. But yes, anyway, I was really impressed with the book. I thought it was really well written, and it was very enjoyable, very sort of cozy, I suppose. But it wasn't super intense or anything like that. It wasn't like scary, or it was just a really nice book. There was, you know, how she, I won't give you any spoilers, but there's a bit of romance, and like the landscape where they end up is really intriguing, and the townsfolk are really intriguing, and it's just a really well-written book, and I did enjoy it. So I have actually purchased the 2nd and 3rd book in the series. So that is our 1/2 cup of coconut oil. Again, if you're using butter, just 1/2 cup of butter. And that's the bulk of the ingredients in. That's basically what we're doing. So what I'm gonna do is just mix that through really quickly. Okay, so then what you want your mixture to look like is kind of like this So with your butter or your coconut oil, you kind of want it to make sort of little balls in the flour like it's done here. That's kind of the stage you want to be at this point. Now the last little bit we're going to do is we're going to add in the buttermilk we made as well as the eggs. And then this recipe, the filling I make for this, sometimes I'll add blueberries or I'll add strawberries, but both of those are not in season at the moment. So what I'm going to be adding today is banana and cinnamon. I have got bananas here, and it's basically like little banana bread scones, which are delicious. So I'm just going to go grab my milk, and then we'll add in these last few ingredients, and then we're done. All right, so I've got my cold buttermilk here that we prepared earlier, and I'm just going to pour that in. Now you'll note that this recipe doesn't have sugar or anything like that in it. I think the original recipe did have sugar, I just don't add it in. I have my scones, so once I make them, I actually put strawberry jam on the top, and I just find that they're sweet enough. I don't think that they need the sugar. So just mixing that through, and while that's mixing, I'm just going to crack the eggs. So you need 2 eggs. As I said, it's better if they are cold. And now you can see a dough is starting to form, which is brilliant. We're just going to whisk the eggs. So as I said, 2 eggs, just whisk them quickly. And then the eggs are going to go in. Now, because I'm making banana and cinnamon muffins, I'm actually going to take the opportunity to add my cinnamon now. If I was doing blueberry or strawberry muffins, I would actually add I normally put fresh blueberries in. If you're using frozen blueberries or frozen strawberries or blackberries or whatever filling you're using, if it's fairly solid, you could add it in now while it's being mixed. But if you find that it's fresh, like blueberries that are quite soft, I wouldn't want to put the blueberries in here now and have them mix through, because they'll just all break apart. So I'm going to add some of the cinnamon. So this is how my dough is currently looking. I'm just going to, so because I don't necessarily want chunks of banana in my scones, I'm actually going to slice up my banana. I'm going to add it in now and get the machine to mix it through. If you wanted sort of chunks of banana, what I would recommend you do is get your dough ready to go, and then when we're sort of laying it out and shaping it, that's when you can kind of add your banana or your berries, or you could do apple and cinnamon, you could do pumpkin, you could do like a pumpkin spice scone, or there's so many variations. It's such an adaptable, easy, like we're pretty much done now. That's the whole recipe done. That took us maybe 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and it only took that long because I was talking you through it. If I just been doing it and just throwing the ingredients in, it would have been even quicker. So it's such an easy recipe. So I'm just going to quickly cut this up now and then add that in. Okay, so the banana is in, all sliced in, and I'm just going to mix it through one more time. Okay, so once your mixture is ready to go, I think it's going to depend on how cold your ingredients are. What you want is your dough to be quite firm so that you can cut it up easily and then portion it into individual portions. If your dough isn't firm like that, if some of the ingredients were a little bit more towards room temperature, what I would recommend you do is what I'm going to do now. So I've just prepared a tray. I have just plain parchment paper down, and I've popped some flour on the tray. And then we're just going to get our mixture and kind of just plop it onto the tray. All right, so we have our dough here on the tray. I've just sprinkled some flour over the top of it because it's quite sticky. If your dough is not sticky, if your ingredients were really cold, you probably can skip this step. But what I'm wanting to do now is sort of shape my dough so that I can cut it into the individual portions. Now, I have a sensory kind of thing. I do not like getting my hands in like the sticky thing, like in like a sticky sort of substance like this. So I am just wearing food safe gloves just for this bit. So I popped flour over the top. I've got some flour in my hands and I'm just going to rub that into the gloves. And then what we're going to do is kind of shape it. I like to shape it into a loaf. What you'll do you could shape, again, if your dough is really sticky, what you can do at this point is actually pop it exactly like this in your freezer for maybe like 20 minutes, half an hour, just to firm the dough up a little bit so you can cut it easily. If your dough is already quite firm and you're able to slice it, that's the next step. I'm just going to see how firm my dough is. It's actually not too bad. But I know sometimes in mid-summer, it's really soft and it's just too hard to cut. So I do put it in the freezer. I just set a timer for like 20 minutes, half an hour, just to make it that little bit easier to cut it. And you just get some of the dough on your knife, which is fine. I just kind of take it off and add it back in. And then that is sort of my individual portions. So just to sort of show you. So that is one of my little scone portions there. That is a whole piece of banana, but that's one. So it'll obviously expand in the oven. But this is basically how I will freeze it. So I'll show you this process now. Just again, a really quick reminder, if when you're pulling your sort of scone pieces apart, it's not coming apart and it's breaking a lot. That happens to me as well. It just means my ingredients sort of weren't firm enough, they weren't cold enough. Then yeah, just pop it in the freezer just quickly and then you'll be able to do this step that we're doing now. So I'm just pulling all the little pieces apart to make it a bit easier. Okay, so I've just got my freezer-proof glass container here. So just make sure whatever container you use, it is safe to put in the freezer. I actually just reuse the same container each time. So this container you can see has actually already been in the freezer, but it is empty, indicating that I needed to make another batch of scones. And then what we do is just pop them in. I put baking paper down just so that it doesn't stick to the sides of the glass. And then what you want to do is pop your scones in. But I don't know if you can see here, I'm trying to keep a little bit of space in between each one. That's the key. If you push them close together, they will stick. And once they freeze, they'll be stuck together and it'll be really difficult for you to get them out to have kind of like your individual serve, you know, for afternoon tea or whenever you're wanting to have it. So if they're tough, you can kind of see there's like a gap in between. That's kind of what you want. And so that's that. And then I just add another little layer of baking paper. And then we just do another little layer on top. Like so. And that's it. That is our recipe. That is our little single serves of scones. I'm going to pop the lid on. I'm going to clean up my mess here, and then later on today I will actually be having a scone with a cup of tea. So I will show you that later on in the video, just kind of what they look like frozen and how I sort of heat them up and how I serve them, just so you can kind of see. They're just, to me, this is such a hack. You know, if you're somebody who entertains, this is a great way to have scones, like fresh oven baked scones, ready to go if you get visitors at the last minute. Or, you know, you could just take out 3 or 4 scones as they arrive, pop them straight in the oven, and then you have freshly baked scones just ready. And there's nothing better than a freshly baked scone. So anyway, I just wanted to share that recipe with you because it is tried and tested by me. I've been using this recipe for years now. And for my afternoon tea, particularly on a Saturday and Sunday, as a little treat to myself, I like to have a scone and a cup of tea sort of around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll do that later together. But yeah, I'm going to clean up all my mess now and then we might pop outside for a little bit. So now that we are done with the cooking, I wanted to really quickly, I didn't get a chance this morning to show you, we are starting to get the little mini roses. This is the jewel coloured one that I have, that's the pink and the yellow. It will open up a lot more in the coming days, so maybe in Friday's video I'll be able to show you it all opened, but we're getting a few of them start to come out now. Ground cover roses are doing so well. I wanted to show you that, and I also wanted to quickly show you, this won't be a full garden tour, I know we only just did one of those, but I wanted to goodness, I need to add some water there into the water fountain. I've spoken to you about these water fountains before. They are solar water fountains. So they just turn on and off by themselves. There's no plumbing or electrics required, but you can see there the water level's a little bit low, so I need to add some water into that. But how good, finally got this path weeded. How good does it look now? Wisteria is still looking stunning. We've still got a gorgeous day. Nice little white fluffy clouds. But what I wanted to show you very quickly was just in here. I've had an irrigation problem with the Hawaiian blue eyes here, and so they've died back a little bit, but we've just added some stripy whites in there for the underplanting of the citrus, which looks really nice. That little sort of pop of the white and green colour under there looks beautiful. Gosh, the bees are out in force today. They absolutely love this Mexican mauve. And I think in Friday's video we will get stuck into the little gardening bits that I bought today, getting the beetroot and the leeks in, tying up the pumpkin. I've also got some cottage garden flowers that I want to sort of scatter with you, so we'll do that together on Friday. But everything is just looking, after all of that rain and now this beautiful sunshine, everything's looking really good. Very, very happy. Alright, I'm going to head inside. I've got a few little sort of admin-y bits and pieces to do, and then we will come back around afternoon tea time and I will show you kind of what I do with the scones then once they've been frozen, and how I heat them up and how they look at that point. I also just wanted to show you very quickly, these were the trailing violets that I showed you today at the garden centre. So this is them in my garden. And you can just see they're non-invasive. They kind of just carpet the ground and you get this really beautiful little white and purple flower. Such a dainty little flower. But it works an absolute treat for suppressing the weeds. So it is now late afternoon and it is already getting quite fresh temperature wise. So it's definitely time for a cup of tea and a warm, fresh scone. So I've just taken the container out of the freezer and I'm pulling one of the scones out and I'm just popping it on a cooking tray. And I'm going to pop it into my oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 220 degrees Celsius. Really just play it by ear with your own oven. Err on the side of caution, maybe do 20 minutes first and then just check to see how well it's cooked. Nobody wants a burnt scone. So I'm going to pop. And little Pippa is all cozy in her bed. Oh, she wants the belly rubs. She's all cozy. All right, my little scone is all ready. And you can see it's got the nice little crack that a good scone should have. I wish you could smell it. It smells incredible. The banana and cinnamon, it's like banana bread, like fresh toasted banana bread, but then you've got that cinnamon smell in it as well. Oh, scrumptious. I'm so excited for this. And I also just wanted to show you, this is the strawberry jam that I use, just in case you're interested. This one here doesn't have any added sugar in it. Sort of the only one that I could find that didn't have a bunch of extra things. And I think they do, so this is the strawberry, but I think they do raspberry and blueberry and all different sorts of flavors. So I'm going to get my cut my scone open and pop the strawberry jam on, and I will show you the delicious end result. And there you have it, the final scone. My absolute favorite. It's such it signals to me the weekend. I tend to save the scones for Saturdays and Sundays. So for me, it's always such a little treat on the weekends. That looks beautiful. Very happy with that. So I am going to end the video here today. I hope you have really enjoyed spending the time with me, coming to the garden centre, making scones together. If you try this scone recipe, I would absolutely love for you to let me know in the comments what your thoughts were. I'm so used to having recipes that don't have sugar and things in them that I just don't know anymore whether, was it not sweet enough for you or... Anyway, if you do make them, I would love to know your thoughts. I just adore them. I think that they are so tasty. So I'm going to get all comfy now. It's getting quite cold, so I'm going to get a blanket on the couch, have my cup of tea and my scone, and probably just dive into my book for a couple of hours. So I will see you in Friday's video. Bye.